Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to our second video. Today we're going to be parking it a little bit in 1 Corinthians, and we're going to talk about the context of 1 Corinthians 12. So we'll let Alicia get started on that.
Yeah, so I think maybe we should just talk a little bit about Paul, who's the one who wrote Corinthians, and kind of just talk about what is the context, what historically was going on at that time. And Paul is talking to Corinthians. Now, Corinthians were polytheists, which means that they believed in multi-gods. And, they believed in all sorts of gods. They believed in, in Acts where it talks about, her name starts with an A, but they call her Diana. But Aphrodite, yes. And she is like the god that protects you so that you don't die during childbirth and stuff. So I'm going on a bunny trail. But to hone it back in, I'd like to talk about really the historical context of Corinthians 12. And what is really interesting, if you flip there, let's go to just the first verse in 12, which says, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I do not want you to be ignorant." Now he's talking to the Corinthians, and what's really interesting about this is that word gifts should either be italicized or have parentheses around it, because that word gifts is actually added and it's not in the original text. So if we read it without that, it says, "Now concerning the spiritual, brethren, I do not want you to be ignorant," which is really interesting to the context of this, because if we go further, you'll kind of start to pick up a theme that Paul is really trying to get to, which is, we'll start in 2. "You know that you were Gentiles carried away from these dumb idols, however you were led." See, he's talking about how they were worshiping other gods. "Therefore, I make known to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of God calls Jesus accursed, and no one can say that Jesus is Lord except for by the Holy Spirit. There are diversity of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are diversities of activities, but the same God, who works all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to each one for the profit of all. For to one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, to another the word of knowledge through the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the works of miracles, to another prophecy, and to another discerning of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these things, distributing to each one individually as he wills." This is really, really interesting, because Paul is really trying to get it across to the Corinthians who think that, prophecy comes from one God, or healing comes from another God, or something. And he's saying, no. We are monotheists. We believe that there's one God, one true God, and His Spirit will work all of these prophecy, healings, tongues, through any one of us as He wills, according to advancing His word or helping someone to come to know Him. So he's trying to explain, which is really kind of different than what I've always been taught. I've always been taught that it's really been an exhausted list of the spiritual gifts.
Right. I mean, I was taught the same thing, that if it wasn't on this list, whether that is healing or speaking in tongues or prophecy, if it wasn't on that list, then it wasn't a gift of the Holy Spirit.
But I'd love for you guys to flip over to Exodus 31. So we're going to flip over here now. And I'd just like to point out that although 1 Corinthians 12 can be used to learn really about the spiritual gifts,
that wasn't really Paul's point in it. His point was not to say these are the only. Are there 12 or however many, 9, however many there are? It wasn't Paul's point to say, well, I'm going to list the only 9 things the Holy Spirit can do in us. His point was telling them that it's all from the same Spirit. That was the context.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I hope you made it to Exodus 31. We're going to start in verse 3. So the context here is that God and Moses just entered into a covenant together, and God is telling them how to build, the temple and the tabernacle and everything that goes inside of it. So, and then we're going to pick up in 31. Verse 3, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom and understanding and knowledge and all the manner of workmanship, to design artistic works, to work in gold, in silver, and in bronze, in the cutting of jewels for setting, in carving wood, and to work in all manner of workmanship.
So those particular verses are talking about a specific gentleman, Bezalel, but he's not the only one that got this gift of the Holy Spirit to do craftsman work. It says if you look at 6, there's another gentleman, which I can't pronounce, I'm sorry, but he's from the tribe of Dan, and it says that, and behold, I have appointed him of the tribe of Dan, and to all who are wise-hearted, I have given wisdom and ability to make all that I have commanded you. Now, God has just given Moses this laundry list of just how to make everything in the temple. Mm-hmm. And he's saying right here that he has poured out his Spirit on certain craftsmen to actually fulfill the work.
Right. And we know that the Holy Spirit does that with us too. We know that we can operate in any one of these Holy Spirit gifts in 1 Corinthians 12, but that we are not limited to just the 9 gifts talked about here, because God can give you gifts in other things, whether it be something creative or, there's a whole world out there, and God is always creating, He's always doing something new, and He's always doing something special with you. So if you have something that's maybe different than the list here, just so you know, I want to make this point too, that everyone and anyone can have all of these 9 gifts. It's not just one specific gift that you get to have. You get to have all of them because the Spirit inside of you that lives in you works all in all. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to throw out that point there, and we'll dive maybe into that a little bit deeper another time.
Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to point out, the Bible even says that every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord.
Exactly.
So if you feel like your creativity or what you're good at isn't from God, well, I would argue that it is from God. He put that in you. He put a passion and a desire in you. And He wants to see you have fun. He wants to have you love life because He loves you very much.
Yeah. I just want to pray for you to receive the joy in how God created you and what unique gift that He's given you. Father, I just thank you so much for the gifts that you have given our dear friends here, and I just ask that you would bless them, give them joy, and know that whatever that they do, whatever they put their hands to, whatever they desire, that you're in that and that you love them and you want to create things with them, you want to design things with them, you want to do things with them. We just release you guys into your creativity and whatever that is, and we bless you. We want you to be free.
Thanks for joining us today on Revealed Abundance, and we'll see you next time.